Time for another book review, and today we're going over the biography of Kimura. Now, Masahiko Kimura, if you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, you may recognise the name from the arm lock. If you're a big fan of Judo, depending on what your lineage is, you might not know who he is. So basically, Kimura was the greatest Judo champion. You could probably argue against it now, but at the time, for a very long time, he was the greatest Judo champion. He split from the Kodokan because he preferred more fighting-based, as opposed to sport aspect of Judo. The Kodokan then decided, well, let's really screw him over. So they promoted his students above him. They pretty much tried to write him out of history. They basically shafted him quite severely. He was never really given his due that he deserved from the Kodokan. It's an interesting book for the factual side of it and the history of it. One criticism I have is I don't know how well that's going to show up, but it looks very much self-published. The pictures look like they've come off the internet because they're quite grainy, and I don't know how well it's showing up, but they almost look like they're still pixelated in person. Quite big print. You know, it's not going to take you forever and a day to read this book. One of the interesting things is on page 63, it mentions Elio Gracie. And I don't know how well that's showing up there, but they've got a rare picture of Elio Gracie in what to me looks like an amateur wrestling singlet. Could be mistaken, it could be an old-fashioned swimsuit, bathing costume swimsuit, I don't know. But to me it's kind of cool that they've got an old picture of Elio Gracie in it. It does go over the fight with Elio Gracie quite a bit. You've got some old pictures there which are quite cool if you're an old-time historian. It does go over some other things. It goes over then as well when Kimura retired from Judo because they were absolutely obliterating him and preventing him from making a living. He tried to stand up pro wrestling, which went horribly wrong. He fought a guy called Ricky Dozan. They double-crossed him and kicked him very hard in the head. Footage of that Kimura Ricky Dozan pro wrestling match can be found online. If it's on YouTube, I'll put a link to it. It's 83 pages long, so again, it's not the longest biography in the world. There are some relatively cool pictures. So yeah, Christopher Clarke's done a pretty decent job with getting the timeline, getting the history. Obviously, he self-published this, no fault with that, not a problem. The pictures could have been a little bit clearer, but again, it's not the most expensive book in the world, and you should be reading these biographies for the detail and for the life story, not to look at the pretty pictures. If you're a Judo guy, you definitely need this. In terms of the history of self-defense, it doesn't really apply to us because it's not about self-defense, it's about a judoka who was a competitive judoka. I like it because it's a very compelling story. It would make a very good film. Unfortunately, at the moment, Hollywood would probably get Chris Hemsworth or something to play him. It's worth getting if you're a Judo guy, if you want the history of Judo. If not, you can live without it.